Roguelike and roguelite games are on my radar, but... Oh wait, I have played roguelike slash roguelite and it's a Binding of Isaac. But this video isn't about it. And when I play it, I couldn't play games for a long time, and so with that I couldn't see the point of this genre, or of this genre. However, in my lifespan, I somehow got a roguelite game called Famaze in my Steam library, which I couldn't play on the old laptop because left arrow key was broken, and even the numpad key, and it doesn't have any settings. And I wasn't sure if this game would work with a controller. Then again, maybe with Steam settings I could play this game using a controller. But what is done is done. By the way, I recently found out that the genre roguelike is named after a game called Rogue, not after what the player does in the genre. So if the genre was named after what the player does in the genre, then it will be been called something else. Well, that was at first. When I posted about it on Twitter and Polsky, I received a reply from Senna Rogue saying the Rogue itself was called after what the player does in the game, and there weren't different names or words to represent the genre, or at least that's how I understood it. Even with that, it still doesn't feel right to me that the genres are called roguelites, and other genres like that. I guess as roguelite, it's about replaying the game from the very beginning. But I guess for this game it isn't the full truth. So I guess it isn't full roguelite. But more about it later in the video. Famaze was developed and published by the Salem. I'm sorry for Frank pronouncing the company's name, only for Steam or on Steam. By the way, on the website they are offering non-official Windows port of Rogue. The gameplay, as its title says, is about exploring maze. Of course, which are randomized for every play tract. However, it is played with two perspectives, but controls works only for one perspective, if that's the right way to say it. Like it is top-down and side-scrolling perspectives. Moving around the maze is only looked at the top perspective, and with that it will look like there are visual bugs inside the scrolling perspective. Like in the side-scrolling perspective, it will look like that you are trapped. As in top-down perspective, it shows the enemy is in front of you, but in side-scrolling perspective, the enemy is behind you. And I guess because of that, the game is in portrait mode, or looks like it is in a portrait mode. Yeah, I don't know a better way to explain the control situation. And combat is basic, just moving towards the enemy to deal damage to them, but of course, with that you also get damaged. And if you get a game over, you can continue the same maze. The location, not the maze layout. The maze layout is randomized, and the goal in each maze is finding a key to unlock the exit to travel to a different maze. However, the key counts as an item, then you need to think what item will be necessary for you. Because you can carry only 2 items, which doesn't get carried over to the next maze. But before starting the game, you can play as one of 3 classes. 9 increases getting a powerful attack after defeating enough enemies. 3 of disarmed traps, and lastly Wizard. Increase using spells but can't level up. And each class has different starting items, or even has a better chance to find a specific item. And maybe other stuff is different to each class. There's 2 difficulties, and Art Galad has different stories. The Mad King story, which is easy, and is the Expert story, which is difficulty. Expert is unlocked after finishing the easy difficulty, of course. And because I tried Wizard then checked out the Expert difficulty, and Rogue because of Expert difficulty that you can level up. But of course it's because every Wizard can't level up. And Expert difficulty didn't seem to be difficult. Or it's just more annoying because of more enemies. I didn't notice any difficult change in Expert mode. There's gold to collect, but I haven't found a place to spend them, and they don't transfer between playthroughs. Only things that transfer between playthroughs are artifacts. There are 7 of it. I have only found 2 of them. This game allows the player to contain the same maze, but with a different layout, after reopening the game. But with that, the character level is reset, and maybe all of the gold is gone. And yet there is a story, which doesn't stay in mind. The Mad King has turned data packets into monsters, and is looking for a magic recipe for royal rotapake potting, and the player needs to save them and find the recipe before the king. It's just an excuse to have a reason for the gameplay. Well, for me it is for a short process, but I can see myself getting to the ending in one sitting one day. And it's by having something to listen to in the background. But before reading the script, I didn't get to an ending in one sitting by doing that. Well, you can check it out for yourself and figure out if you can play it only in short process, or you can play it for a longer time in one sitting. Maybe because the combat doesn't deep enough depth, that's why it is only for short process for me. And or because you get trapped between the enemies with low health, and you need to try to restart the maze, but with a different layout, makes me lose an interest to finish it in one sitting. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, like the video, subscribe and comment. See you next time.